I don't think this move had anything to do with the recent controversy of the galore. I
You
really don't,
don't.
because I don't, for a
Okay.
couple reasons. First of all, I think this would have been in the works before
Uh,
this happened,
that's a good
because this
point.
really came public in the last month. Second, I just don't think the Vatican cares about that stuff. I mean, look at what they've done. They have had, I
Right.
mean, they have a Legion of Christ bishop who was just promoted to cardinal, who associated with, the just being associated with legions enough, and then of course McElroy, who knew about McCarrick.
One reason why I think he's being promoted and not demoted is that he is seen as a guy, just like McCarrick. I'm not saying he's wicked like McCarrick,
Right.
but McCarrick was known as a money guy. He
Absolutely.
could get the checks. He could float projects. He could bring together investors and they could create things, right? And do
That was
things
the
for
number one
Rome.
thing. The reason he rose is because, I mean,
Exactly.
I lived in the diocese when he was Archbishop of DC. I was living there, and his ability to fundraise, and that's why he became one of the most powerful cardinals in the world.
And that's
And
why I think
so,
he's going to get promoted. I
yeah,
think
well,
this is getting him out of a little bit of trouble. Maybe not now that you kind of made that case. I'll actually grant that to you. That's something I hadn't thought about. But I think this puts him in a pod waiting for the next cardinal see to open. Give him 3 to 5 years, and then you give him a mega see. You promise him the red hat, and you say, "Hey, let's start fundraising these projects. Let's help Rome. Let's do all these things." And that's the kickoff. So counter
but
that.
that
Why am I wrong? Why is it more
okay.
of a demotion?
Couple reasons. The first one is, I just think that Francis seems lately to be being more urgent in his decisions, because I think he knows he doesn't have much time left. I mean, you saw it with the appointments this week of McElroy and some of the other cardinal appointees, but also with Supich and the others going to the Congregation of Divine Worship. I mean, he's really trying to make his mark right now. And I think that, to me, that seems like too much of a long game. But I think the real reason I think it's a demotion is because I think the perception of Pope Francis, the American bishops, he hates almost every one of them. He has, Francis that is, has put Barron in that grouping of the Corleones and the Chaput and people like that. And so that's why I think this is just like, we can kind of cut him off at the knees, put him in this nowhere diocese where he has to be ordinary, so he can't spend as much time on his videos interviewing people like Jordan Peterson, stuff like that. And so
Interesting.
that's my basic speculation of why I think it's a demotion.
If that were the case, why even make him a bishop at all? Why give him the power to be an ordinary and have influence over a diocese? And then I think the Bishop Barron, in my opinion, as I've watched him over the past 7 years, every year, although he does interview with Jordan Peterson, but let's be real honest, like in the Catholic Church, Jordan Peterson represents morality, virtue, making your bed, and generic theism.
Right.
It's not any of the rigid traditionalism that you and I promote and
Right.
live, right? So, like, yes, I can see liberal Catholics, woke San Francisco type, whatever, being like, I can't believe he has Peterson on. But in the Catholic Church, he's edging left and left and left. He's been vocal for James Martin's book. When he was on, he talked about how he wouldn't overturn Oberfeld. And he seems to be more and more in line with the policy of the USCCB. For example, when the USCCB put out that dreadful statement on death penalty, Barron is the one that read.
Right.
And to me, when I saw that, I said, okay, the USCCB is no longer kind of keeping Barron away. Like, where are you? What are you doing? Do you think you're better than us because you have a YouTube channel and a ministry and all that? And I think at that point, I realized, no, they realize they can let him in and they can use his persona and his reach and his platform to baptize their own agenda. He's useful in letting, the older age Catholic audience, which is very much his audience, telling them what is Catholicism and then also how to fundraise for that brand of Catholicism.
I don't think, for example, Bishop Barron is like a true leftist. I think what Bishop Barron is he sees which way the wind's going and he goes that direction, which is what a lot of bishops are. And so, but for the true leftists, like Pope Francis and like a lot of his advisors there, they demand 100% conformity. with the plan. And Barron does not give them 100%. So what happens is he can become a useful tool. As an auxiliary bishop of Los Angeles, he can't be controlled as well as he can be as a bishop in some nowhere diocese.
That's
because the USCCB can still use him for all their purposes in the Vatican, for fundraising and all that. But now the hope is his outside ministry, so to speak, We're on Fire, his anti-woke stuff, all that stuff, that gets diminished. And now basically all he does is he reads statements from the USCCB about the death penalty and things like that. I mean, I think that's
a good point. I like it, Eric. That's a good point.
I try.